I'm Richard Aldridge. I'm the lead designer of the new content team for Warhammer.
So Richard, what's it like seeing people here playing Skaven publicly for the first time?
Super cool. Like seeing these nutty, Skaven, kind of crazy professors come into life, and people sort of in awe and jaw dropping, you know, when they're seeing the Doom wheel, the crazy hamster wheel, which is got lightning shooting out from its warpstone prongs, and the Hell Pit Abomination, which is this a god-awful nightmare of a creature molded together. It's really cool and really satisfying, and it's lovely to present to people what we've been working on for a little while now, and getting feedback, you know, both positive and negative. You know, we're really trying to, you know, improve what we're doing across the course of all these games, with it being such a, you know, powerful trilogy of titles.
You know, as a Warhammer Fantasy player and Age of Sigmar player, I have to ask, what goes into deciding what units will go into your game? Because there are a lot of units in the Warhammer and you can't possibly have all of them. Like, for example, I'll point out that the Gatling guns are missing in this Skaven. Yeah. But you guys have other stuff. What goes into that thought design process of what units work well and what don't work well?
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right. We can't get everything in. There's so much cool stuff which has been written about over the course of the years by Games Workshop. But we really focus on, you know, what is that faction's core? What makes them special? So we'll go to our Warhammer boardroom and we'll literally get the models out, put them on the table and start playing. And very quickly we can assess, you know, this character's important. He brings this role to the battlefield and he buffs these kind of units. So with Lord Skrull, we wanted to absolutely make sure that we brought all the Pestilence units to the table. So that's why, you know, you've got your Poison Wing Globbladiers, and you got your Plague Claw Catapult and all those crazy, even like the Sensor Bearers, which were a tricky thing for us to make because, you know, it's constantly swinging around ball and chain. We still had to get them in and find a way to get those animated. And that goes across all the races, right? You know, Lizardmen, we knew that monsters were key there. You can't have Lizardmen without having a Carnosaur or a Stegodon, you know, or even a Bastillodon. So they're all there, they're all front and centre, but they make up what that army is. It's going to be a hard-hitting, tough-shelled unit, which is very different from the Skaven, right, which is squishy, meat shield, throwaway units. I mean, it even says that on some of their unit descriptions, just to give you that idea of, you know, how they disregard it. You can get that Doom wheel rocking up and crushing over things, you know, whether it's your guys or the enemies. There's not that kind of mentality of, you know, respecting that. They've got rats coming out of everywhere, even as like army abilities with the Menace Below feature. You can set your rats to come behind artillery and archers, which makes them really cool to play, really different, and gives them, you know, a proper edge against some races. But, you know, Dark Elves have got their thing. They've got murderous prowess, so the more kills, the more sadistic they become. They sort of, you know, become more powerful within their own right, and you get to see that in one of the battles we got here today.
There's also like that opportunity for DLC in the first Total War. I mean, I loved it, but I was like, man, because I play zombies and corpse carts, and there were no corpse carts, but they were added later in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's one of the fun things that I get to do personally, is bring you all some of the, you know, some of those new and cool and exciting features in the game. I want to theme that up, so, you know, you come with a bunch of cool stuff which all interacts and plays well together. So yeah, the Mortis engine was an absolute treat to bring to life. That was one of my favorites.
So, like, I mean, how do you guys go about deciding what races go into the game? Because like you said, you can't fit all of them, possibly. Most of them were in Total War Warhammer. You guys are still missing some in Total War Warhammer 2, like Tomb Kings.
We are. We have to pick, like, well, okay, if you think about Warhammer 2 and what we've gone with, you've got two bitter civil wars kind of going on. You've got to have High Elves and Dark Elves, right? You know, the Dark Elves split away from the High Elves many years ago, and they've got a real bitter spite in them. And they, you know, Malekith feels like he should really be coming back to take away the throne, you know, of Tyrion. Likewise, you know, Skaven and the Lizardmen have a really long-standing battle there, and Skrulk had to go in. If we're going to do Lustria, we're going to have to do Skrulk, because Clan Pestilence is key to having this war, you know, between the two. So Master Mundi's there, you know, channeling all his magic from his temple cities, trying to align the geomantic web, which is one of the cool new features for the Lizardmen, while Skrulk's got his Liber Bubonicus, which is all the plagues and corruptive things that the Skaven bring with them, in trying to, you know, really disease this lush jungle.
So what are some of the challenges in making each of these races and units feel unique and different, so they're not just carbon copies with a different skin?
Obviously we'll look at all the army books and we'll take inspiration from that as a key point. We'll use some things in the game, and some things we'll change into other mechanics or features. So you might actually bring some of the stuff into the campaign, because Warhammer doesn't have that as a tabletop game. It's a battle game first and foremost. But from the units perspective, we want a good mix. So we want like duelists. We want guys that can take on large sweeping bodies of units, and we really try and diversify what we got there. So we don't have too many things covering the same role, but it really is now more focused on an army ability. So it's a play style, whether it's big creatures or whether it's more micro with the archers. I mean the high elves are amazing at shooting out volley after volley of devastating arrow fire, and they're kind of dual hybrids in kind of the Lothran Sea Guard.
So, being a PC-only game, as a designer, what does it open up for you creatively? Because PC's constantly evolving every year. The technology gap from Total War Warhammer 1 to 2 is actually pretty phenomenal. And then what does it open up for you as a designer when you're making these new races?
Gives us lots of flexibility. We're always trying to push what we can. Whether that's through physical mechanics or like user display, we're really trying to drill down and make that a big improvement for Warhammer 2. So the user experience is absolutely key. We're trying to get more onboarding with the tutorials to make people's lives easier. Embracing things like 4K, so you can see all this glorious detail of all the models. Same with also the graphical technology. Really trying to push that there. DirectX and other bits and pieces that we've got going on there, and we'll continue to do that. We're only at the second point of this, and by the end, Warhammer 3 and all its various bits and pieces and DLC, I'm sure we'll have some epic game.
Do you think it'd ever be possible to port the game over to Xbox One or PS4?
I think that's going to be a tough one. I mean, one thing that we really like doing is giving our fans the ability to mod our game. So that's not something that we can really support, if we were to go over onto a console. But at the moment, we're able to, let you guys go and create maps, play around with some of the data, make your own mod. Maybe you want to make things run around the map a little quicker, or you want to give it different bonuses. You want to try and toy around with some crazy idea. We've seen some amazing, open field battles, settlement battles, and that's the stuff that inspires us to then put more of that stuff into the game for us. So I think being on PC is really core to be able to give you that opportunity.
Do you think we'll ever see Tomb Kings make an appearance?
I think you will see Tomb Kings. I think you will see Cetra the Imperishable rise again, but can't tell you when just yet. So we're out on the 28th of September, so that's pretty soon. And one nice thing is, if you decide to pre-order now, or you go the early adopter for the first week of release, you can get Norska, which is our DLC for Warhammer 1, absolutely free.